It's a blessing to welcome on former Wake Forest star. Now he's the newest member of Cincinnati and will be a new look team under Coach Wes Miller. Ody Oguama, how you doing, man?
Man, doing good, doing good.
Absolutely. Well, kind of take us through how you're feeling right now because a big transition just went down. Playing your first 2 years at Wake Forest, and now you're heading out to Cincinnati. How are you feeling right
Yeah,
now?
man. Honestly, I'm feeling good. I've been talking to Wes, all of them, like the whole coaching staff for a couple weeks now, and I feel like it's gonna be like a perfect fit. Feels I'm gonna be comfortable up there. Just get to learn the whole area, get to know my new teammates, everything.
hmm And just overall for you, I mean, we're gonna go through your story a little bit as we go through this interview, but this is gonna be like your fourth or fifth different scenario now. You obviously spent your first 3 years at a single high school, you then moved on, spent your final year in Connecticut, then you went to Wake Forest with Coach Danny Manning, then you had
Mhm.
coach last year, Coach Forbes, and now you're moving out to Cincinnati, Coach Miller. Like, how have you adjusted all this change so much in the past few years now?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard. I'd say it was definitely hard, moving around so much. But I feel like it's only made me like a lot more like in tune with just basketball, understanding like just how it all works, just the whole relationship aspect of everything. It just made me a lot more open to people, get to know people, their motives and all that. Like
Mhm.
it's honestly just helped me growing and moving forward, like as a basketball player.
Absolutely. Let's kind of dig into that story because, like I said, it's been a long journey to get to this point now. Let's head all the way back. You are from North Carolina, Raleigh to be specific. What was it like growing
Yeah.
up out there?
I mean, simple. It's not like a New York City or anything. It's a
Mhm.
simple city. I've been there my whole life, apart from like the time when I went to Connecticut and of course like my time in college. But
Mhm.
just a real homey area, homey vibe. Just real subtle. Not nothing crazy. I can't really think of anything too crazy from the area. Like just Raleigh. Raleigh is what it is. 919.
Now, to sidetrack a little bit, we know you kind of have descent from Nigeria too. Walk us through that a little bit. Like, how have you learned to take pride in them? What's it been like kind of having Nigeria in your background?
It's definitely something that makes me, a lot more. It's like knowing where I'm from, knowing where my family comes from, people, even my kids who hopefully in the future they gonna know where they from, knowing that we got family all over the world. It's a good feeling. And my dad reminds me all the time that like you're Nigerian, you can go. That's really home for you. So it's just a good like roots. Like knowing my roots is really good. Like having that in mind.
Now, I know everyone calls you Odie. It's kind of what you go by on social media and all, but your true
Mm-hmm.
name is a lot longer than that. So walk us through that a little bit.
So my full name is Odinakachim,
Mhm.
and that means in my God's hands. It's the name my dad gave me, and I feel as if it's just completely embodies like just me, my whole lifestyle and everything. Like being that that I am a Christian. I come from a Catholic household. My dad's everyone Catholic. I was baptized, raised Catholic, and having that like foundation for me really helps. And like it's nice. It's nice knowing that like I got that support.
Now we do see with a lot of guys, like there's a lot more guys that's from Nigeria, rather not necessarily from there, like the family's from that there, and guys like Spencer Dinwiddie, obviously one of the newest guys that kind of made the decision to represent Nigeria now in the Olympics and FIBA qualifying games. Is that something you
Mm-hmm.
might look into, like down the road now when it comes to Olympic time in the future? Is that something you might be interested in, like going back out there and representing Nigeria?
Oh, definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. I would definitely go back and represent Nigeria. Like I said, that's my one true home. That's a place I actually haven't even been there before, but I
Mhm.
plan on going sometime soon in the near future. And I would definitely love to represent Nigeria in the Olympics or any type of other like, national or
Mhm.
global competitions.
So have you been able to kind of connect with other guys that have Nigeria in the background? I know there's a few different guys in the colleges basketball world and high school too, but like, have you connected with anyone else that has the same background as you?
So I mean, I haven't necessarily connected with like too many guys like outside of like people I know, but
Mhm.
like coming to Wake, I was introduced to a couple of Nigerians as well. My former teammate, his name's Sunday Okiki
Mhm.
and Emmanuel Cuomo, like they're both Nigerian, and I just felt as if we had that bond right away, being that we were all Nigerian.
Absolutely. Let's head back into your high school career a little bit. And like I said, you really decided to stay home, go to Cardinals Gibbon, and that's really where you create a legacy for your first 3 years of high school basketball. Walk us through
Mm-hmm.
those years a little bit. Like, why is it the school you chose?
Uh, I mean, I sort of just went to Gibbons based off the fact that I went to private. I've been going to private school almost my whole life, like elementary, middle school. I went to this place called St. Raphael's Catholic School. My dad thought it'd be best to put his kids in Catholic school, being that we come from a Catholic household.
Mhm.
And Cardinal Gibbons was sort of like the next step. I was like where like majority of people, like the people from my grade, they would go there. You know, being that Gibbons was also a Catholic school, we still practiced. Like we still practice all that, and it was sort of just Raleigh, like close by. Why not? Like
Mhm.
just keeping the whole Christian, Catholic, everything, keep it going.
So that freshman year, you guys go out there and you guys finish up 10 to 16. Kind of take us to that freshman year, like starting to get used to the high school landscape. Like, what was that freshman year like for you?
It was definitely a hard adjustment right away.
Mhm.
So I started playing basketball actually when I was 13 years old. So I was in seventh grade, and then getting to high school was sort of like a quicker like wake up call, being that some guys been doing this and everything. So I was thinking in my mind, okay, like I got to be able to catch up, and it was a little bit of a shocker, but I found my way. I found the people to talk to. I just worked my way through just playing, getting to know the game a lot more, and just kept moving forward from there.
Now, you're not necessarily like the tallest guy, obviously, in college basketball, but like you still have a lot of height on you. So was that something that came in later in life? Were you always taller than a typical kid? Like, when did the height really start coming to you?
So like I sort of always been taller than a lot of guys.
Mhm.
I've always been the tallest in my grade. I feel as if it was definitely like middle school though. It was definitely
Mhm.
middle school where I started realizing I was towering over a lot of people. And because of that, that's what my friends noticed, that like, man, Ody, you're so tall, you gotta play basketball, man. Like just try out. So that's sort of what happened, and that's sort of what got me into playing basketball.
So when you head into your freshman season, like if someone would have told you that you're going to eventually develop into a guy that's going to go Division 1, obviously you're not like a top ranked guy coming out originally, but you still had your name on 247. You're still collecting a lot of offers to all over the place, and you get to go to school like Wake Forest out of the gate. Like, could you ever have seen that or expected that in your future at that point in time?
Definitely not. It wasn't something I did. I really didn't think like I'd get this far with basketball, but because I'm this far, it just makes me want to grow more as a player. At the time, I was sort of thinking like I'm tall, so it'd be a nice little extracurricular activity to be doing on the side. But I actually found that love with the game, and
Mhm.
just seeing where basketball can take me, it sort of just made me a lot more just in tune with it and want to just get better every day.
So when would you say click? Like when did it start? When did you really start feeling that okay, I actually am one of the better guys on the court each time, and I'm actually have like a long time thinking this. Like I could play college basketball, possibly even longer than college. Like when did that start
Mm-hmm.
becoming a reality, and when did you start believing that in you?
Um, I'd say that definitely have. I probably have like my junior year of high school.
Hmm.
So junior year of high school, played varsity and everything, and that summer I was trying to figure out where I was going to play AU with. I played AU with NC Red Storm. Shouts out to my man Coach Baker. But and that summer I got my first offer too. And from there on, I sort of just realized like, yo, I could really go places with basketball. So might as well just give it all I got.
You are a unique player too, because I mentioned earlier, like you may not be like the tallest guy out there, but you're an elite rim protector. Maybe the numbers don't always correlate with that, but like the blocks you're capable of doing are incredible. Like you're athletic, you have long arms. Obviously, you still factor into the taller ability to you too. But how have you kind of grown into this frame? Like how have you learned to utilize your length, utilize your height, utilize your athleticism? Like how did you learn to bring that all together?
Um, so yeah, I'd say that goes along with just like growing into my body. Like I
Mhm.
said, growing up, just shot up in middle school. I wasn't always so tall. So I was sort of just growing into my body. And as soon as that happened, like I'm starting to like put on weight and everything. And my coaches are always telling me like, yo, you gotta utilize like your length, your quickness, your athleticism. So just constantly working on it too, working on those like types of drills where I have to always like moving on lateral quickness, working on that stuff. And this it comes out more, I'd say, on defense. Because defense you always have to, it's like you're reacting more so. It's like a back and forth within like reacting.
Mhm.
Defense definitely emphasized like how I'm able to use my physical abilities, blocking shots, beating a guy to the spot, and everything like that. So I'd say as if that'd be the most like influential part of it.
So that was heading into that sophomore year. You guys flip around the entire record. You guys go 19 and 9. you play a pretty good role too, nearly 10 points a game, about 5 rebounds, a block a game, assist a game too. Take us to that sophomore year for you.
So yeah, sophomore year, that was my first year playing on varsity. And I sort of just came into that year thinking, okay, I'm understanding the game. Why not just go out there and do what I do? I'm still, of course, learning the game. I'm a little raw, as everyone says, but every single day I would just go out there, just trying to play hard, trying to do whatever it is my team needs me to do. And I don't think we lost, I believe, like first round of states, but it was definitely a great season though. That was like probably one of the better seasons when I was in high school.
Then you guys had a few big seniors on that roster that ended up obviously moving on to the next stage of life, and you would get a much larger role than that junior year. You guys go a little bit under 500, but for yourself, you averaged 14 a game, 9 rebounds, almost 2 blocks a game, an assist too. What led to that breakout in you? Like, why were you all of a sudden able to break out and perform at that level?
Man, I tell you, it's just like within myself, I always just told myself, like, if this is something I'm doing, I might as well just give it my all. So every single day I approach the game thinking just like, yo, I just gotta get better. I just gotta do my best every single day. So I just always keep that in mind. I always keep that in mind. I'm a worker. I'm not sure if you know that, but I'm a worker. I'm always trying to work hard. I'm always just trying to leave it all out there and do whatever it is that's necessary. And I think I just kept that in mind moving forward through high school hoops, and the competitiveness, I believe, started to really get to me as well.
And if we look at the whole scope of where you're playing at, it's North Carolina, which obviously might not be regarded by some people as the main states, but like when you truly look at the list of guys that have come from that area, that's in the NBA, both historically, currently, guys in college, up and coming high school players, like North Carolina is easily a top 10, top five, top three, in some people's opinion, state in the country. So what's it like just being a part of that atmosphere, like learning and playing basketball against some of the best players out? Like, what was that like for you?
Yeah. So I'd say the hoop state is definitely the number one state with basketball.
Mhm.
But that I'd say is what made me so serious with basketball. I was always around people who growing up just took it so serious. I don't know if it's being because we're all from North Carolina, but guys just took it so serious. Guys were always competitive, like NC Hoopers, like we're always ready to work. And just being around that just helped me sort of see and like work on my work ethic and everything.
So what is it about that? 'Cause, like when you look at some of the comparing kind of states that are up on that list, like you look at California, clearly they're the most populated state in the country, so that factors into it. Same thing with Texas, Florida to a degree, but they also have a lot of big cities there too. Georgia's got places like Atlanta. Like North Carolina doesn't have like that huge city that some other states have. Like they don't have like some of those reasons that you look at and say, that's probably why they're up in that list. So what's the culture like out there? Like what allows you guys to develop and become so elite out there?
Uh, yeah, you're right. I wouldn't say we have like it looks like such a big city or anything, but North Carolina is home to there's so many different hooping cultures. We got Duke here, we have UNC here, Wake Forest, NC State. Like these are real like at some point within history, like they were all at like going crazy with hoops, like college basketball and everything. And that's something I believe like the younger audience looked up to. They definitely saw that and just sort of sprouted dreams and hopes, like ambitions of playing at that level.
This might kind of put you on the spot, but if you do look at all the states in the country, obviously, as you don't have a full list in front of you, but like you look at some of the places that you've competed against, like you look at some of the guys kind of panned out in the NBA and college right now, what would be your
Mhm.
top five states in the country right now in order?
Top five states in order with hoops. Okay. Probably gonna receive some hate from this one. But NC, North Carolina is definitely number one.
Mhm.
North Carolina is number one. Um I'd say New York will be number two.
Mhm.
I'd say probably New Jersey, probably like Jersey, because that whole like up north, like that, they got the whole mecca of basketball up there. So probably Jersey, close third. And hmm, okay. I'd say Cali, probably Cali at the fourth. They got some guys coming up from there too. And fifth state, fifth state that's really good at hoops. Fifth state that's really good at hoops. Yeah, I probably say Texas. I probably say Texas. I probably put Texas above Georgia. Definitely Texas above Georgia. So yeah, that five in order. NC, then New York, Jersey, Cali, then Texas.
Absolutely. Well, so this kind of jumping a little bit ahead, but like when we started seeing the way that Coach Miller is kind of compiling this roster now at Cincinnati, he's got quite a few guys from North Carolina. We know John Newman's a big transfer coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Bringing some of his UNCG guys out there with him too. Kind of establishing like this North Carolina connection where you kind of have some familiarity with them. I'm not sure how close you are to any of them yet, but like just kind of having that North Carolina backing. What's that like, and how comfortable does it make you feel like going to somewhere you kind of have guys that you are familiar with?
Yeah. So it definitely makes me feel comfortable going out somewhere where, I'm gonna know other guys, gonna know similar people, everything. And I'm real, connected. Like we got that type of relationship that we know each other. Cause surprisingly, actually, Wes and his staff and everything, a couple of them, they recruited me out of high school while they're at UNCG. So they were at UNCG the whole time. And while I was, receiving offers and like trying to figure out where I was going for college, they reached out to me and everything. So I've sort of known them for years, I'd say. And it's just a lot. It's like comfortable knowing that they're going to be there with me, that, they've always, talked to me, always wanted me as like a player and everything. And plus, like, with John, like he's familiar with the area, he's familiar with them as well too, I'm sure. And it just makes everything a lot more comfortable, like ease of mind, knowing that I'm gonna be up there with people that are, I guess, new to the area as well. But we still like helping each other.
Mm-hmm. No doubt. Let's hop back into your final year of high school basketball, and you decided to make a big transfer. Then you head out to Woodstock to go play a much higher level too. Like you get to go against much more competition and play at that next
Mm-hmm.
level, which we see a lot of top guys do that nowadays too. But walk us that decision. Like, why did you decide to move on for that final year of high school for you, and why was Woodstock the school you chose?
So I really wanted to go there because of like you said, the competitive aspect of everything. And I chose Woodstock based off the fact that I knew I was getting into a situation where basketball was going to be it. Woodstock, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but not much is really around it. So basketball is really all there is. And I was able to get to know the guys there. We all have, similar dreams. We all got the same goal in mind. So it was nice being around those guys, being able to just grow and develop around them.
Now, personally, I'm a huge fan of guys doing that, rather it be for your sophomore, junior, or senior year of high school, because it equips you a lot better for the college lifestyle. You're living on your own now is one huge thing, but like you said, like you're competing against a lot of guys that will be playing at the next level, rather it be D1, D2, whatnot. So how much,
Mm-hmm.
like, how did you realize how much it helped you prepare you for Wake Forest your freshman year?
I think it was huge because, like you said, that's the first time I was really there on my own, having to figure out the ropes for myself and all that. But it was huge, and I'd say it's a step that I think a lot of guys are starting to do. Like I'm starting to realize, and it just helped me know what to do when I'm by myself. Having to plan some certain things out by myself. I don't really have like my family around me, my friends or anything. So it's sort of like all there is just hoops and just working and doing what you got to do.
Now, when you look at the practices, that's one of the biggest things too. Like I said, you're competing against the top guys in that locker room too. So what are those practices like for you?
Those practices were huge. They were heated too. So like I went in there. I didn't really know anyone or anything. No one knew each other. It was just like everyone's trying to just go at each other and make their mark. Like everyone's trying, you know, just get a feel for each other, get a feel for each other's game and everything. So it was just always intense. Practices were always intense. It was like filled with a lot of like competitive like drills and everything. And they were good. They were good.
So now you look back at your entire high school career. Were you happy with what you produced throughout your high school career? Do you wish you did a lot more? Like, how would you overall feel about your high school career?
I mean, I never have regrets about anything. I feel as if everything happened for a reason. Regardless of it is, life keeps going. But um, I don't really, I can't take away anything I did from my high school career. I think everything I did was for a reason. Everything I did got me to where I am now, and I'm gonna just continue doing what it is that I do.
So when you look back at it, is there one memory or one game specifically that you kind of look back and you say, okay, that was definitely my favorite game or my favorite high school memory?
Hmm. Okay. My favorite high school memory. Uh, my favorite high school memory was probably. Mm. Yeah, it was probably the game where so we were playing Green Hope. It's like sort of like a little rival high school down the road, not too far from us. And it was in the second round, I believe, of states my junior year, I believe. And it was just like that game was packed. We were on the road, we were playing at Green Hope. That game was just packed. Like everyone was there. Like I knew some familiar faces there. And it was just crazy. It got, I had a little like heated moments with a couple of the players there. But I think just the atmosphere of it all sort of made me like just really dialed in. Like, the emotions came out and everything. We ended up losing, but it was definitely like a heated game, and we are all just dialed in that for that one.
I can also imagine for you, like you look at all these aspects of the game and you probably would rather have been a much higher ranked player. You probably would have been someone that having a lot of offers on the table would have really interested in you at that point too. How did you handle that? Like going through the process and you still had Division One offers, but it probably wasn't a lot of the high majors you probably would have dreamed of. How did you handle
Mm-hmm.
that throughout your high school career?
I don't really think much of it because and I don't think anyone else really should. It's just like a matter of those guys recognize you, they recognize your ability. So just continue doing what it is that you do. And you just gotta continue doing it at like a high level. For me, like I didn't think too much of just offers and everything. Yeah, some guys would be like, "Oh, you just got off from there, like congratulations, da 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 da." But I was more so doing this for me. I was trying to find, just keep working for like the best fit for me. Trying to just weed out just the best situation, the best fit, guys who are going to really take time and like work with me in a place where I really felt like comfortable.
Let's walk through that recruiting process. As we know, you choose Wake Forest and Coach Danny Manning then, but kind of take us through that process because you have schools like Coastal Carolina in the mix for you, you have Winthrop in the mix, FIU, like you have a lot of different schools that are offering you and kind of reaching out to you and in the mix for you. So take us through that process and what ultimately brought you to Danny Manning and Wake Forest.
Yeah, so I had, like you said, all these schools offering me. I took visits to Winthrop as well as FIU and ultimately Wake Forest, and it was all great. Like I remember I still know the coaches and everything. Like they're great. They were great people, great atmospheres. But for me, it was sort of like I sort of wanted to go to a place where I knew I was going to be challenged. I knew I was going to be pushed and everything. And I thought that I would best receive that at Wake Forest. And like it is like this place is a great academic school. It's in the ACC, which is like every kid's dream. Me, especially growing up in North Carolina, and that's just where I thought I'd best fit. That's how I landed there.
And just looking at the schools, obviously Wake Forest stands out because they are the only high major school in that mix too. But when you got that call from Danny Manning and you got the offer officially extended to you, take us to that day. Like what was going through your mind and how'd you react to it?
Yeah, it was sort of like it was a little surreal. I was like, wow, like that's really crazy. Like I'm gonna really get the opportunity to play at that level. It was just wild. Me and my family too were talking about it, just like, okay, like we're from North Carolina, we're gonna be back at home and everything. Like it's gonna be crazy. And I didn't really I sort of so yeah, I was excited. I was ultimately just so excited. I was just like, dang, like this is crazy. And I sort of just continued talking with them, continue building that relationship, and then I figured that that'd be the best spot for me.
Let's head into that freshman year at Wake Forest, and you ultimately kind of surprise a lot of people probably. Like you go out there and you end up starting 24 of those games. You start holding it down low for the team. Were you shocked by that at all? Like, did you expect to get that much opportunity that early on?
No, not necessarily. Actually, I sort of thought like I'd sort of take this year, learn, just build my experience, work around these guys. But I was sort of just thrown into that position, and I just pushed through, challenged myself, just did whatever it was that, like I said, that my team needed me to do, and ultimately just led to that.
So when Coach Danny Manning was recruiting you, what was his pitch to you? Like, was he saying, we want you to come in and be a big factor this year? Or did you even kind of surprise him how good you did your freshman year?
Um, I believe the thing that sold me was just being that Coach Manning was like a big man himself, being that he worked at Kansas and just the career he had at Kansas. I was trying to work under him and just pick his brain, have him work with me. And that's what sold me. And moving to my freshman year, though, I didn't really think too much of it. I didn't really think like anything crazy was really gonna happen. I was sort of just going in with the mindset like, okay, I'm here for college. I thought I was going to stay there for the next 4 years, but things change, things happen, and I just figured next phase in life.
So walk us through that freshman year a little bit. 13-18 record, not obviously the dream scenario, but just take us through that freshman year a little bit, the ups and downs of the season.
Uh, so it was nice. I mean, first year of college hoops for me, it was of course like shocking. That transition from just high school to college hoops, it's crazy. Like you realize, this is really what some guys do. Like, the speed of the game, the pace of the game, the physicality of it all. It was just, sort of just thrown right at me and everything. And freshman year, I thought it had like its ups and downs. We had like you said, 13-8, not an ideal season, but we had some big time wins. I believe like one of our greatest ones against Duke while they were ranked at home, which was crazy. That's probably the best experience I've ever had here. But just a lot of ups and downs, just a lot of learning going into it all.
So you got to walk us through that first day that coach tells you that you're going to be starting now. Clearly, that's a big day for anybody. But how did they tell you you're going to be starting, and how did you accept that role as a starter then?
How did they tell me I was going to be starting? So it was more so like we had like a team meeting, and the next day, like at the end of the team meeting, sort of pulled me aside, like, okay, Ody, this game you're about to start for the first time, da da da. I was like, wow, like, okay, like I'm okay, like I gotta really dial in. I really gotta start the game and everything. I gotta make sure I have in my mind that like these guys are trusting me to start and like go hard. So it was crazy starting for my first time, and I noticed a pattern. Like it continued to happen. They continued to start me and everything. But I feel as if it was more so like Coach Manning just believing in me, believing in my ability, and just telling me that I'm gonna just keep getting better and better and keep learning under him.
I have to ask about one team because I started writing down some of your biggest games you've had in college so far. And you write down the first one, you have 10.7 rebounds in your debut against Boston College. Then your next time you get your first double-double, 16-10 against Boston College. This past year, you get 13-10 against Boston College. What is it about Boston College? Like you've had a couple of the good games too, but no doubt about that. But some of your most historic best games so far in your college career have been against one program and one of them alone. So what is it about you when you get against Boston College?
I really don't know. People always ask me that. I wish I could tell you, I wish I had an answer, but I just remember my first game. Like Boston College was the first team I ever played like collegiately. And I just went in there with like a focus that I'm gonna just do whatever it is I need to do. And I'm not really sure. I guess every single time I just have that same feeling whenever I see them on the schedule. I'm just like, okay, like first time, like you remember how you felt that first time after playing them. So it's just like that.
So if there's one team you could pick out that you want to go play against if you could every game, would it be Boston College then?
Oh, I wouldn't say so. No, I'd want to be able to play just against like, anybody and everybody. I'm not worried about any of that. But I could say like I'll miss playing in the ACC against some of these guys and like all the competition and whatnot.
Absolutely. Well, in that freshman year, you have a couple of guys that have built a big name for themselves in the past year now. One of them, Sean Day, obviously, he goes out there to Michigan, did his thing. Also, Olivier Sarr obviously went out to Kentucky too. What was it like
Mm-hmm.
having those two guys? Obviously, Olivier probably a little bit more for you on the big man aspect, but having those
Mm-hmm.
two veterans that clearly are great players, going to play professionally, how much did they help you as a freshman?
Helped me a lot, I'd say. I was real close with those guys. I still talk to them, and they just helped me a lot. They would tell me, when I was a freshman, they would always tell me like what I need to do, like how I need to be doing stuff. Especially like you said, Olivier being a big man, working the same position, we'd always go back and forth with each other. We get in there, we work with each other and everything, and it was great having those two guys, those two leaders on the team, being able to just control everything and just moderate and just help other guys, not just me, with all that.
So now you head into your sophomore season, and you will obviously have a lot of stuff that goes chaotic for you during that whole process of heading into this next season. And the whole offseason was chaotic for pretty much everyone in terms of COVID. But not only are you battling COVID and those effects, but you just have a coaching change. We know Danny Manning gets let go. Coach Forbes comes in. So take us through that. Like, how'd you learn about Coach Manning getting let go? How'd you adjust to that? Like, just take us to the whole coaching change for you.
Um, I mean, like you said, it was hard with like COVID and everything. It was sort of just like, you know, like this is what's happening. And at the time, it was sort of just like a lot going on. We had a team meeting, and then after that, we got the news that Coach Forbes was going to be the new coach. And like I said, it was just so much going into it. Everyone was sort of just like, okay, so this is what's happening. Everyone had to readjust to what they thought was going to happen, and it was just crazy. Honestly, just a lot of like emotion, a lot of like thinking, a lot of just not knowing whatever was about to happen going on, but it happened, and here we are.
So were you shocked by that? Did you expect that? I know some people could have looked at it and said, well, the records haven't always been good, so it could have been likely. I know people have the rumors for a little bit, but like you personally in that locker room, clearly liking Coach Manning, were you shocked by that move? Did you see it coming? Did Coach Manning ever have any idea of it coming? Like, how much of a shock was it for you?
Yeah, I'd say it was a shock, but it was just crazy because like we had already finished up the season and everything, and we were like having team meetings moving forward on what was about to be happening. And then while everyone's even at home too, we're at home, no spring semester, and I believe it was 2020. Yeah, no 2020 spring semester, and we're all at home working out, and then just get a phone call for everyone to just hop on the call, and it was just crazy. Everyone was like, "Yo, well, I guess Coach Manning and like some other like higher ups within Wake Forest were just broke the news. They were just like, okay, like this is what's happening," and it was just shocking. Yeah, I was like, I guess I'm gonna just do my best to move forward and plan ahead with what I got to do.
Now, for a lot of guys, when a coaching change occurs, the guys will probably put the name in the portal, see what's available, and maybe come back to the school, but oftentimes move on. So, what kept you there for 1 year? Like, why did you trust Coach Forbes and say, I want to stay at Wake Forest. I'm going to see how this works out?
Yeah. So I'd say that was my process. I was just like, so I had 1 year here. I thought that 1 year was all right. And I sort of just thought like, okay, I might as well stay for one more year to see how it works out, to see what it is like that, the new regime was bringing in. And yeah, I sort of just, I guess, like testing the waters, just trying to see like how it is, like trying to see if like I best be able to fit within all this. And yeah, I think I just came to the conclusion that like something else out there is just better for me, and I'm gonna just go after that.
So, let's head into your sophomore year a little bit. And you obviously still start majority of games, 18 out of 20 of them this past year, dealing with COVID at the same time, too. But take us to the ups and downs this past year.
Lots of ups and downs, definitely lots of ups and downs. Like during the preseason, I had gotten sick, so I was sort of out I was out for preseason for about like a month, and right after that, I had contracted COVID, so I was sick with COVID and I was out for like another few weeks, and I couldn't really practice with the team. I couldn't work out. I wasn't allowed to do anything. And I had to spend like a week or two coming back, working out, getting back into shape and everything. So I missed a couple games early on, but I ultimately was able to come back. I was able to just finish out the season, play, do my role, and it was just crazy, just COVID and everything. It just made. I mean, it wasn't. I can't be the only one who says this. Like, it was crazy for everybody. Like, it was just not like no one knew what was really going on at times. Sometimes it was just crazy.
So going a little bit down the COVID line, you clearly had your whole COVID offseason too. And a lot of guys took that differently. Like, what was the biggest thing that you worked on? Like, what'd you key in on during the COVID offseason?
COVID offseason, I'd say I was more so just like working on just staying dialed in, staying focused on what it is I need to do. I just worked on having a mindset moving forward of it's basketball that I'm trying to do. So I just continuously worked at that. I try to make basketball my craft. I try to take everything, every single aspect of that just 100 times more serious.
Mm-hmm. And so obviously, like you said too, you think we kind of got over with to a degree with the COVID issue earlier on in the year, so you don't have like a mid-season break for yourself in terms of health. But you guys obviously had a lot of ups and downs. Everyone had minor pauses here and there. You guys had a lot of changes too. Plus, you guys also had Carter Witt come in mid-season. that's obviously he's a great player, but that's still just changing up the locker room a little bit mid-season. How did you guys
Hmm.
try getting chemistry together? Like obviously the record wasn't great again, but like how did you guys manage to get any kind of chemistry throughout the year?
So we just did our best, trying to just get to know guys. We'd like you said, with COVID, it was sort of hard. It's not like we could have all like hung out with each other and fears of like contracting and spreading COVID. So just like it's just like locker room banter and making sure like every single day within practice, like everyone's going hard, everyone's talking, everyone's communicating. And yeah, I mean, we at times like, yeah, we'd probably grab food every now and then, trying to, just get some team bonding going on. But with COVID, it was just real hard trying to get to know everybody early on, especially with all the transfers and everything coming back in too.
So you personally have a pretty solid year. You jump in all your numbers to 8 points a game, 5 rebounds. Walk us through this year, like in terms of your development, having this jump. Did you feel that you did your best this year, or was this? Do you think you could have done a little bit better? Like, how do you feel about this past season?
I mean, I always feel as if I can do better. I go in there doing my best, but I definitely feel as if I could have done a lot better, especially at certain times. But this whole year, I sort of just thinking like, okay, like you have your experience, you gotta go out there and just show that you've been here for a year. Now you could actually like compete with everybody. So that's sort of just the mindset I had, and I was sort of just challenging myself, trying to see the best I can do.
You once again had another huge game against Boston College, but you also had a big one against Duke too this year, 14 points against them. Take us to that night. Like, what was it like going out there and dropping 14 on Duke?
Uh, it was huge. It was huge. It was like it was just crazy, just being able to just compete. Like the first time we went over there, lost, and came back here. I really had to mind, like I had in my mind, like, okay, I want to really be able to beat them again at home for the second time in a row. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but that's what I had in my mind. I was just thinking, okay, like I really want to win this game. Want like also being that we're both NC schools, I really wanted to win that game.
This probably wasn't the best memory of your basketball career so far, but let's take us to the ACC tournament. You guys are having a pretty solid game up against Notre Dame, and we know the shot that they hit out there. So take us through that game a little bit. Like, what was your thoughts as the shot goes up? Just walk us through the whole play and the whole game.
That was just crazy. The whole game was just, especially man, early on we were up at one point we were up for a while too, and
Mhm.
then within the second half they just kept cutting down into the lead. Eventually it's like tied, and we just keep going back and forth. And man, I don't even. It was just crazy seeing that shot go in. Like it was just crazy, and like I feel as if everyone saw it and sort of knew like like it was going in, and like that's just what people say when they say March Madness and everything. Like it was just I really it was just devastating too to seeing that shot go in. Everyone was like, wow, like we really had our hopes high going into that tournament and everything, but that shot really, man, I don't know, it was just not what everyone was expecting, but definitely not the best way to go out. But it was just crazy. It was just crazy.
No doubt. Well, before we head into Cincinnati and that big move again, I want to go through another aspect too, and that's you off the court. I know you prioritize your academics. You're all ACC academic team your freshman year, still value academics highly too. So what's taking your drive to that? Like why do you take so much more passion and so much more attention you put into your academics? Like what's the reason behind that?
Um, well, I mean, I'd say it's something that my dad first instilled in me. My dad's like he's very huge about just education as it is, and for this is something most people got to be aware of. But like the basketball stops bouncing at some point for everybody, and being able to have that degree, being able to just finish up school and everything is huge for everybody. And I think that's what some people gotta keep in mind.
So how do you balance that? Because to be a guy that's playing at your level, clearly a starting player at the Division I high major level, like that takes a lot of effort, a lot of time by itself. But then for you to really succeed and excel in the academic aspect too, it's not an easy job to balance both. So how have you learned to balance those two aspects?
It comes with sacrifices. Like at times where you want to, one night you want to just hang out, go out with some friends or whatever. You gotta keep in mind that you gotta get some rest, but you also gotta finish up that paper or that assignment and everything. And it just comes with a lot of discipline as well, being able to make sure you get your work done. And I guess that's something I've always had just growing up, and it's something that some people would, wish they could do at all times. But yeah, I sort of always just had that, just trying to just finish up my work, trying to get things done, and the balance is hard. You just like I said, you just gotta know when to get things done, know due dates, all that. Scheduling helps. Scheduling helps. Talking to advisors, all the resources and everything we have here at our disposal as student athletes, it helps a great deal.
Absolutely, man. Well, so after this whole season now, you decide it's best for you to put your name in the transfer portal a couple weeks ago now, and you already come to the conclusion that Cincinnati is where you want to spend the rest of your career, hopefully at. So walk us
Mhm.
through this whole decision. Like, why do you feel it's best for you to put your name in the portal, and just walk us through life in the transfer portal?
So I mean, I just figured that I need a new change of scenery, and I mean, I've been in NC my whole life and everything, and I felt as if I needed a change and where I actually had like I could develop like a relationship and everything more so with my coaches, teammates, and all that. And putting my name in the portal has sort of made me. It was like shock. It was like a little, not I wouldn't say overwhelming, but a lot of schools reach out to me and everything, and I sort of just had to do my best to figure out the best fit for me. But I'd say that one thing I could say was that Cincinnati was the first school to actually reach out to me, and being that I already knew Wes Miller as well as most of his staff and everything while they were at UNCG, it helped a great deal. Being that they were in another position to recruit me and sort of just give me their whole spill on me committing to Cincinnati.
So when you're in that portal, I'm sure a lot of the big schools reached out to you too. Like, was there another school or two that you were seriously looking at that you also really liked?
Yeah, another school that reached out to me probably a little later was Virginia Tech, and I was thinking, okay, it'd be huge to sort of stay in the ACC. It'd be nice to be able to stay in the ACC and still go up against all these guys I've sort of been going up against, and I was considering it as well, but I always just looked back and thought like, okay, like Wes and all of them, they're gonna do their best to be able to work with me, get to know me. I already sort of know them. We sort of got that relationship going already, and I feel a lot more comfortable just picking there.
Cincinnati is one of the more established schools out there. They've had a great history. They've won a lot of games in the past, and they haven't been bad by any means in the past few years, but it hasn't been that consistent tournament team, that team that can go a couple weekends deep into the tournament as of late. So what's Coach Miller going to bring to this program? Like, why is he the guy that can get Cincinnati basketball back to where it once was?
I mean, he's a great coach, great guy. He I've talked around. I've talked around, trying to get to see what other people think of Coach Miller, and I hear the same thing. Everyone says he's just a great, genuine person. He's always hardworking. Like when you get to know him, he's always there. He got your back and everything. And I feel as if that's what's needed to like really push players as well as just the whole family, the whole basketball family over there to be able to push them and like know that we're working for something. We're working to get somewhere, and I think he has that type of energy, he has that type of attitude moving forward that's gonna get us there.
So what does he want from Ody? What does he want you to bring this team? Because you have, like we mentioned, you're a great shot blocker. You can still score at a pretty nice level, especially down low. Like you have a lot of intangibles. You still have a super high ceiling too. But what does he want you to bring to this program?
I mean, he just touched upon it, being that he just wants me to come in there and just be me, like you just named about all of them, but he wants me to come in there and just bring like immediate just energy on the court, off the court, being able to just have that type of camaraderie with guys. And I guess he thinks that I'd be able to I'd just fit great into the situation, fit great into that family. I'd be able to really work with guys and really push myself and others around me.
Now, this is a good looking team so far. They have a few guys coming back from last year's team, some of the most key pieces too. Adding in a lot of guys like John, AJ, yourself obviously coming in, Jared, Victor. Like there's a lot of guys coming in this mix that are great players that have proven themselves at various levels too. But from what you see so far on paper, like how special do you think this team can be?
I think we can be real good. I mean, I think we can be real good. I don't necessarily, like I said, I don't really know everyone yet. I travel up there later in the summer, but I think we can be real good. I think Coach Wes was really doing his job, trying to get the pieces and everyone, trying to get everybody on the same page with what's going on, recruiting like similar guys who have similar attitudes with approaching the game. And I think we can be real good. I mean, I don't want to make any promises, but I think the future's bright.
So you have a potential of staying there for 3 years. Obviously, for sure, you guys probably most likely be the 2 years unless an NBA opportunity opens up, but that's obviously a different discussion. So how do you approach this now? Like you look at yourself when you say, I have 2 to 3 years to come up to this program, hopefully make 3 tournament appearances, make some deep runs too. Like what would be the dream scenario for you? Like what do you want to get done in the next couple of years while you're out there?
I just want to be able to win games and I just want to be able to win. I want to be able to win. I want to be able to just work in an environment where everyone's on the same page, everyone got the same attitude approaching the game. And I just want to be able to push myself and really develop myself and hopefully reach that ceiling of where I believe I can get to.
Absolutely, man. Well, a few more things I want to wrap up discussing with you. One of which is building a legacy for yourself. I know that all guys want to be remembered for something. So when you are done playing this game down the road, what do you want to be remembered for what you achieve both on and off the court?
I guess on the court, I want to be remembered as someone who always, gave their all. Like every single time I touch the court, I'm trying to work, I'm trying to win, I'm trying to just, give 100%, do whatever it is that's needed. And off the court, I'd say that same deal. Like I'm a hard worker, not just, of course, when I'm training, but I'm a hard worker when it comes to, like you said, the school aspect of it. I'm a fairly good, I'm a teammate when it comes to that. I'd say that for the teammates I have, for the teams I've been on, I've always had a good bond with the guys. I've always been able to get along with everybody. So I'd say that everyone will say that I'm a hardworking guy on the court and off the court. He's just a chill, laid back guy. Everyone's always, cool and connected with.
Absolutely, man. Well, you kind of brought a little bit of attention to it already throughout the course of this interview, but as you talked about, you are a believer and I am too. So that's also the biggest thing in our life. So kind of walk us through your faith a little bit. How have you seen God help get you to the point you're at today?
Yeah, God's definitely the biggest point I'd say in where I'm at today. I was born and raised a Catholic. I was baptized at birth and everything. And within my family, we would go to mass like Sundays and everything. Of course, I went to a Catholic elementary, middle school, high school as well. And it's just huge. I just know that God's always there. I know he's trusting, he's forgiving. And that's something that's just always able to just push me, knowing that there's someone up there watching me, there's someone up there helping me. And it's nice just knowing that. It's nice knowing that God, he's one of the greatest mysteries to this day, but that's someone I'm able to always trust. That's someone I'm always able to, lean on whenever I'm in doubts of anything. But God always always has my back, and I'm glad to be a believer.
Absolutely, man. And as you kind of mentioned too, like you kind of grown up in this space, so it kind of wasn't something that you still kind of by yourself. But as a believer, like we kind of know, like as you venture that point when you get old enough that you kind of form that personal bond. It's not just like your parents kind of helping you with it. You kind of go out and you kind of form that own personal connection, really start relying on him on an individual one-on-one relationship. So when would you say that point was for you? Like when did you really feel like you created that bond personally with him?
I'd say I sort of created it within this whole like COVID off season. It was hard. Like at times this year, I wasn't always like 100% mentally, and I was always able to just calm down, relax, and know that God always has my back, and that God always has a plan, no matter what it is. So it was just nice growing up that way. It's nice knowing that I always got someone to lean on, and that someone's always watching me and always keeping me safe, keeping everyone safe.
I know you're also pretty vocal about your faith. You have different things pointing to God throughout your Instagram bio and also on Twitter. But what's kind of led you to be more vocal about it? I know a lot of believers might have that faith with God, but not be as vocal about it. So what's kind of led you to be more vocal and kind of share God's light to the world?
Um, I say it's just me. I'm confident in my faith in him. I'm confident that he's watching over me, and I'm not scared to say that I am a believer. I'm not scared to say that he's helping not just me but others who are going through problems as well. And of course, everyone has their own religious beliefs and everything. Not to say that I don't respect them or anything. It's just I believe myself, the way I was raised and everything, that God is always there and always has my back.
Amen, man. Well, my final thing for you, if you could wrap up your entire self into one word, both you on and off the court, like the entire Ody package, what would that one word be?
Genuine. I'd feel as if I'd say that if you meet me, you're meeting me. I'm not gonna be anyone else. I'm always just gonna be myself, be who I always been and everything. And you're always just gonna get Ody Oguama, Odinakachim Oguama.
Absolutely, man. Well, congratulations on the big move once again. I appreciate you taking time to come on today, and I look forward to see what God got next for you, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Coach Wes, welcome on, man. God bless.